Hello YouTube, this is Joseph again, bringing you a new deck tech. Today I'm bringing you one of my Pokemon decks. You may not know this, but I also have a few Pokemon trading card game decks, and the Pokemon World Championships were just this last weekend, so I kind of wanted to do a deck tech showcasing one of my Pokemon decks. It's a little bit more on the casual side of it though. It originally was legal and standard, but I decided to swap out the Octillery lineup for Baltoy and Claydol because it did similar thing to Octillery, but they were just a fighting Pokemon and had better synergy with the rest of the deck. So the main attackers in this deck is actually Garchomp, and I'm running a 4-2-4 line with Gible, Gabite, and Garchomp. Our two secondary attackers are Hawlucha and Lucario EX. Lucario's second ability lets you drop 6 cards in your hand, and Claydol is another source of drawing lots of cards, and they just make the deck more consistent. There's a total of 16 Pokemon, which is a little higher than a normal deck may have, but it was just a perfect number to be consistent. So these are the main item cards in our deck. We're running full play sets of Rare Candy, Focus Sash, and Level Ball. Just to take note, Level Ball lets you search your library for any Pokemon with 90 HP or less. And there's a total of 5 Pokemon in our deck that have 90 HP or less. So these are all the searchable targets for us. And they are a lot of our very key Pokemon to win the game. So Level Ball is essential for this deck to be efficient and consistent. Focus Sash can only be equipped to fighting Pokemon, and it makes it so that our opponents can't just one-hit KO our Pokemon, because you'll also note that our main attacker, Garchomp, only has 130 hit points, so he can die very easily to a lot of EX Pokemon, so Focus Sash just makes him harder to kill. And finally, Rare Candy is essential just to level up our Gibbles into Garchomps and be more aggressive in the early game. Now here are the rest of our item cards. We have Super Raw to get back different evolutions from our discard pile back into our library if we need them. Max Potion is very handy to do after a Garchomp has been attacked and has a Focus Sash on it. Often it's left at 10 hit points, so being able to remove its energy and just heal it back up to full health just to equip another Focus Sash is a really powerful combo. Trainer's Mail lets us look at the top 4 cards and choose an item, a trainer card, and put it into our hand. Fighting Stadium is very good to make it so that Garchomp can have consistent one-hit KO kills. Garchomp does 80 damage, and if he's fighting an EX, he can do an additional 80 damage. So that's only 160, and you'll note that a lot of EX Pokemon have 180 hit points. So being able to do that extra 20 damage can make him into a one-hit KO Pokemon. Now we run Float Stone specifically for our Claydol. Claydol has a 2 retreat cost, and he's more there just to let us draw cards. And sometimes our opponent will Lysander him out into an active Pokemon position. So just being able to have him have a 0 retreat cost so that we can put our main attackers back into active position is very beneficial. Professor's Letter is there to search our library for any energy cards that we need. We're only running fighting energy, so that's the main card that we're looking for. Town Map lets us look at our prize cards, and Ultra Ball is just there for consistency, just to search out any Pokemon that we need and just discard some cards that we may not need in our hand. And Ultra Ball is also nice with some of our supporters. You'll see Bianca later, which her ability is letting you drop 6 cards in your hand. So being able to discard a few so that you can draw into maybe better item cards or better trainers or supporters or whatever you might need later in the game is also very handy. So these are our supporters. They are very essential to winning the game. You may not know the rules to the Pokemon trading card game, but you can only play one supporter a turn. It's very similar to only being able to play one land card in Magic the Gathering per turn. So these are very essential to winning the game and are often quite powerful. The main one to note for our particular strategy is Karina. She lets you search for a fighting Pokemon and an item card. So often if we have Garchomp in our hand, we might look for a Gibble and a rare candy so that we can level Gibble into Garchomp, and she just makes the whole game consistent. Bianca lets us draw up to 6 cards in her hand. Lysander lets us force a Pokemon on our opponent's bench into the active position, which is very good if your opponent is trying to store up energy on a particular Pokemon and get him ready to go and power him up. Then we can just Lysander him out into the active position and kill him off before he becomes a threat. Pokemon Fan Club lets us search for 3 basic Pokemon. Again, because we're running a lot of evolutions in this deck, being able to search out our EX Pokemon, our Gibbles, or our Baltoys are very handy. And Professor Birch is another way of drawing cards. So these are our supporters. They're very essential. And finally we have our energy cards. Energies would be the equivalent to a land card in Magic the Gathering. You can only play 1 energy per turn in the same way that you can only play 1 land a turn. Our strong energy can be only equipped to a fighting Pokemon, which happens to be our entire deck, and it makes their attacks do 20 more damage, which is very good with Garchomp because, as I noted before, against EX Pokemon he can only do max 160 damage, so being able to do an extra 20 damage to one-hit KO most EX Pokemon is very important. And then we have just our regular fighting energy. So some final notes is that Garchomp's first ability, Turbo Assault, can retrieve energy cards from your discard pile, which is very relevant for longer attrition-based games where you're needing to retrieve energy. And it combos well with Max Potion, just being able to get those energy back after you've discarded them. And Lucario has 3 abilities that are very relevant. He can Missile Jab for 30, Corkscrew Smash for 60, which lets you draw cards, or a Somersault Kick for 100. So he is another big hitter and another alternative attacker. And finally, Hawlucha is an essential card for any fighting deck. He can only do damage to EX Pokemon, but when he does, he can do 60 damage for only 1 fighting energy. And if you have a strong energy in a fighting stadium in play, he can actually do up to 100 damage to an EX. And he can also be equipped with a Focus Sash, making it so that he can't be one-hit KO'd. So he's another good utility and secondary attacker if needed. So there you have it. That is my fighting Pokemon deck revolving around Garchomp. I got a lot of this inspiration from Dark Integral Gaming, so check out his page. I'm going to leave a link in the description. He has a very dynamic and enjoyable video that he does detailing some of the synergies with his deck, so check it out in the description below. And I would love new subscribers, so click the subscribe button, click the like button, and leave comments in the comment section below. Thanks, and have a good day.